You need to think about this. Is the identity politics of today born out of a fixation on race? Well, Morgan Freeman certainly thinks so, and I believe there's weight to this idea that I want to explore, so subscribe to the channel and watch this incredible exchange he had with Don Lemon before I tell you more about it.
Do you think that race plays a part in wealth distribution, or either a mindset that you can't
today?
or cannot? Yeah.
No.
You don't?
No, I don't. I don't. Hey, you and I, we're proof. Why would race have anything to do with it? Put your mind to what you want to do and go for that. It's kind of like religion to me. It's a good excuse for not getting there.
Yeah. You know, I said, and it's probably get me in trouble, but I said to some of my colleagues recently, so I know that it's an issue, but it seems like every single day on television I'm talking about race, and it's because of the news cycle, it's in the news, but sometimes I get so tired of talking about it, I want to just go, this is over, can we move on?
And if you talk about it, it exists.
Right.
Yeah. It's not like it exists and we refuse to talk about it, but making it a bigger issue than it needs to be is the problem we have.
Morgan Freeman is such a class act for this, but you know what stood out to most in this brief clip? It's that someone like Don Lemon would pretend that he's tired of talking about racism because it's over, and yet he's part of a mainstream media and political culture that benefits from the polarization of racial divide. And that doesn't just have to be a negative kind of racism that we've seen plenty in the past, but also one that incorporates race as an element in its social justice movements to supposedly rectify those past injustices. That's why I think Morgan Freeman particularized the question to today, because there's no doubt that people in the present moment carry the weight of the past in all forms, including the racism that existed in history. But is racism still the great divide line between people in 21st century America? I love the work of Thomas Sowell on this, who's truly one of the greatest African-American historians and economists to tackle the debate. His work, like Discriminations and Disparities, stretch a line in our popular discourse around race that not enough people can, which is that broad statistical disparities between racial or ethnic groups doesn't necessarily have to be the result of discrimination that is happening today. And I think that argument pulls the plug on much of the unfair moral burden that people today are forced to endure for past injustices they didn't commit. But unfortunately, disconnecting that plug also means destroying the race hustling of fringe extremists on both ends of the political spectrum who benefit from the rest of us even speaking in terms of race. Do you see how Morgan Freeman's diagnosis rings true here? By making us not even want to speak about each other in terms of race, he's subtly cutting off oxygen to racism in all its forms without even actively fighting it. And paradoxically, while society and social justice warriors today try to overcorrect for the past, they're creating even more racism in the process that they don't even recognize. Understanding that is the first step toward a truly productive conversation on race.
I don't think wealth and genetics have anything to do with each other, actually. If you're born in the U.S., it really doesn't matter the condition of your birth. Mm-hmm. What matters is what you inherit from your nurturing, from your environment, whether or not you're going, I'm just from the standpoint of having been born with little. You can always get out of that. Poverty is just...
But environment affects.
Yeah. Say you're born as one of the untouchables in India, mm-hmm. There you are. And if you're born into the super rich, there you are. Here, you can be born to the super rich, but 3-4 generations down the line, it's gone. Mm-hmm. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are.
Right.
So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
Reminds me of an incredible quote by the rapper Zuby when he said that in society today, the demand for racism is greater than the supply. The truth is that way too often people don't seem to realize just how far we've come in pushing racism to the extreme fringes of society, and that's something to be grateful for and to continue. Unfortunately, telling someone that despite all these strides that society has made in eradicating racism, that they're still not able to make it big in 21st century America for their race is the most disempowering message that can exist, and I don't think it's a message that even the greatest civil rights activists in history would advocate for. But because selling this discouraging message only submits people to the tyranny of low expectations and makes them out as the other in society that is especially victimized or oppressed today, rather than part of a united whole. As Thomas Sowell once said, racism is not gone, but it's on life support, kept alive by politicians, race hustlers, and people who get a sense of superiority by denouncing others as racist. Don Lemon seemingly could not see the point that Morgan Freeman was making here, and that shows you exactly what the problem is with the debate around race today.
I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. I had a long haul from where I came from to here, but here we are.
Right.
So the proof of the pudding is in the eating, and here we sit at the dining table.
But it's hard to, when you say that to some people, because they say, oh, there you go with a pull yourself up by the bootstraps thing, and you're just being respectable. Not everybody can do that.
Everybody can. Everybody doesn't. Courage is the key to life itself. There are a lot of people who are born in situations where they say, I'll never get out of this, so they won't. I say to people who say, well, I would like to have done so and so and so. So, well, you could have done it. So, well, I couldn't get out of here. Well, man, the bus runs every day.
It is amazing how that attitude can turn the most empowering message into the opposite, and perhaps that's a microcosm of what is happening on a grand scale in society. And what's even more interesting is that one of the greatest examples of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps is seated right in front of Don Lemon before he makes that comment. There's no denying racism in history, and there's no denying broad statistical wealth disparities that may exist between groups. But to draw the line from that to saying that individuals inside the group are inhabited by a same notion of systematic racism today only leads to a self-fulfilling prophecy. Morgan Freeman's already given the most potent antidote against it, including in this iconic interview with Mike Wallace.
Black History Month you find
ridiculous.
Why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No, come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism until...
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man.
Seems like Morgan Freeman's only one of a fraction of people giving out this remedy to racism, and yet it's the most effective one by far at truly disarming it. The solution is to purge our conversation of race, both in our individual lives and a collective societal level. That's the first step to making sure that racism is chased into hiding and is never allowed to come to life in new forms in different times. Let me know in the comments if you agree, because the conversation you saw between Don Lemon and Morgan Freeman is perhaps a snapshot of much of the talking past each other on race that we see today.